Okay, this is chapter 25. Bronwyn, Saturday, November 3rd, 10:17 a.m. This time, I do drop my nano. It slips out of my hand and thuds softly onto a rug as I watch one of the police officers flanking Nate open the cruiser door and push him, not very gently, into the back seat. The scene cuts to a reporter standing outdoors, brushing windswept dark hair out of her face. Bayview police refused to comment, other than say that new evidence provides possible cause of charge. Nate Malachi, as the only one of Bayview 4 with criminal records, with Simon Kellner's murder. While we continue to provide updates as news story unfold, I'm Liz Rawson reporting for Channel 7 News. Maeve stands next to me in a remote in her hand. I pluck her sleeve. You can rewind to the beginning, please? She does, and I study Nate's face in the looping video. His expression is blank, almost bored, as if he'd been talked to going into a party and doesn't interest him. I know that look. It's the same one he got when I mentioned the until proven at the mall. He's shutting down. He's putting up a defense. There's no trace of the boy. I know from the phone, our motorcycle rides, or in my media room, or the one I remember from grade school in his St. Pius tie his shirt untucked, leading his sobbing mother down the hallway with a fierce look that dared any of us to laugh. I believe that Nate's the real one. Whatever the police think or found doesn't change that. My parents aren't home. I grab my phone and I call my lawyer. Robin doesn't answer. I leave such a rambling message and her voicemail cuts me off. And I hang up feeling helpless. Robin's my only hope for getting information. She won't consider this an emergency if the problem's for Nate's future lawyer, not her. That though makes me even more panicked. What's overworked public defender who's never met Nate gonna be able to do? My eyes dart around the room and meet Maeve's troubled gaze. Do you think he might have... No, I say forcefully. Come on, Maeve. You've seen how screwed up this investigation is. They thought I did it for a while. They're wrong. I'm positive they're wrong. I wonder what they found, though, Maeve said. You would think they're pretty careful about all the bad press they got this week. I don't answer. For once in my life, I have no idea what to do. My brain's empty of everything, except for the churning anxiety. Channel 7 has given up, pretending they don't know any new, and they're replaying snippets about the investigation to date. There's footage from Michael Powers' investigation, Addie and her pixie haircut, giving whoever's filming her a definite finger. A Bayview Police Department spokesman, L. Kleinfelter. Of course, I grabbed my phone and I searched for Eli's name. He gave me the cell the last time he spoke and told me to call him anytime. I hope he meant it. He answers in the first ring. Eli Klafner. Eli? This is Bronwyn. Wrote was from... Of course. Hi, Bronwyn. I take it you're watching the news. What do you make of it? They're wrong. I stare at the television while Maeve stares at me. Dreads creeping through my fast-growing veins, squeezing my heart and lungs. It's so hard to breathe. Eli, Nate needs a better lawyer than whatever random public defender they'll assign him. He needs anybody who can give a crap and knows what they're doing. I think I need you. He needs you. Would you consider taking his case? Eli doesn't answer straight away, and when he does, his voice is cautious. Bronwyn, you know I'm interested in this case. And I sympathize with all of you. You've gotten the shit to deal with, and I'm sure that this arrest is more of the same. But I've gotten impossible workloads as it is. Please, I interrupt with the words that tune me out. Tumble out of me. Eli about Nate's parents and how he practically raised himself since he was in 5th grade. I tell him every awful, heart-wrenching story Nate's ever told me, or that I witnessed or guessed. Nate and I would have it. I wish hate it, but I would have believed anything more strongly. I've never believed anything more strongly than I believe that he needs Eli to stay out of jail. All right, Eli finally says. I get it, I really do. Are you either of his parents in shape to talk? I'll make time for a consult, and give them some ideas for resources. That's all I can do. It's not enough, but it's something. Yes, I say with Bronwyn's fake confidence. Nate talked to his mother 2 days ago and she was holding on, but I have no idea what effects today's news might have on her. I'll talk to Nate's mom. We can meet 10 tomorrow, our office. Maeve's still watching me when I hang up. Bronwyn, what are you doing? I snatch my keys from the Volvo from the kitchen island. I need to find Mrs. Mackerly. Maeve bites her lip. Bronny, you can't run this like student council, she said. She's right. I need help. I'll come. Will you come, please? She debates it for half a minute and her amber eyes steady on mine. All right. My phone almost slips out of my sweaty palms as we head to the car. I must have gotten a dozen calls and texts while I was talking with Eli. My parents, my friends, and a bunch of numbers I didn't recognize probably belong to reporters. Have 4 messages from Addie with a variation of did you see and WTF and what are you telling your mom and dad about this? And Maeve asks as I back out of our driveway, what is this, Nate's arrest? I'm pretty sure they're in a loop on that. This legal coordination you're doing. Do you disapprove? Not disapprove exactly. You're flying off the handle before you even know that what the police found. It could be cut and dried. Do you know you really like him? But it isn't possible he did that. Isn't it possible he did this? No, I say shortly. And yes, I tell my mom and dad I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to help a friend. My voice sticks on that last word, and we drive in silence until we reach Motel 6. I'm relieved when the front desk clerk tells me that Mrs. Macula will check in. Is still checked in, but doesn't answer the phone in her room, which is a good sign. Hopefully she's wherever Nate is. I leave her note and my phone number. I try not to overdo the underlines and the capital letters. Maeve takes over driving responsibilities and the ride home while I call Addie. What the hell, she says, when she picks up, and the vice gripping of her chest loosens in disbelief in her voice. First, they think it's all of us, and then the musical chairs until they finally land on Nate, I guess. Anything new, I ask? I've been away from screens for half an hour, but there's nothing. The police have been tightly lipped up about whatever they found. Addie's lawyer does not have a clue what's happening. Yours hung out. You want to hang out tonight? She asks. You must be going nuts. My mom and her boyfriend have plans, so Ashton and I are making pizza. Bring Maeve. We'll have a sister's night. Maybe if things aren't too out of control. I say grateful. Maeve turns into our street and my heart shrinks when I spy a line of white news vans outside of our house. It looks like Univision and Telemundo have joined the fray, which is seriously going to piss my dad off. He never can get them to cover anything positive about his company, but this is what they show up for. We pull into the driveway behind my parents' car. As soon as I open the door, half a dozen microphones are in my face. I push past them and meet Maeve at the front door. At the front of the cart and grabbing her hand as we weave through the cameras and flashing lights. Most of the reporters shout some variation of, Bronny, do you think Nate killed Simon? But one calls out, Bronny, is it true that you and Nate are romantically involved? I really hope my parents were asked the same question. Maeve and I slam the door behind us and duck past the windows out in our kitchen. Mom is sitting on the island with a coffee cup between both hands and her face tight with worry. Dad's voice rises in heated conversation from behind the closed office door. Bronny, we need to talk, Mom says, and Maeve floats away upstairs. I sit across from my mother in the kitchen and I meet her tired eyes with a pang. My fault. Obviously, I saw the news, she says. Your father's talking to Robin about what if this means for you. In the meantime, we got a lot of questions. Like when we walk past the zoo out there, some ask if you and Nate, I can already tell she's trying not hard to keep her voice neutral. We might have to make it difficult to talk about whatever. Relationships. And I have the older kids because from our perspective, it's the best way to keep you safe, to keep you separate. So maybe you didn't think you could confide in us, but between you, but I need you to be straight with me now. Nate's been arrested. Is there something I should know? At first, all I can think about is what's the least amount of information that I can provide and still make you understand I need to help Nate. But then she reaches out, squeezes my hand, and hits me with a stab of guilt, and I never used to keep things from her until I cheated in chemistry, and look at how that turned out. So I tell her almost everything, not bringing Nate to our house and meeting him in the Bayview estate because I'm pretty sure that'll send us down a bad path. But I explain the late night phone calls, the escape from school, motorcycle rides, and yeah, the kissing. My mother's trying so hard not to freak out. I give her a lot of credit. So you're serious about him? She almost chokes on her words. She doesn't want the real answer. Robin's answered different questions than the one that you're trying to deflect strategy. You would work well now. Mom, I understand how bizarre the situation is, and I really don't know Nate, but I don't believe he hurt Simon, and he doesn't have anybody looking out for him. He needs a good lawyer, and that's what I'm trying to help him with. My phone buzzes with a number I didn't recognize. I glimpse at and realize I need the answer in case it's Miss Melody. Hi, this is Bronny. Bronny, I'm so glad you pick up. This is Lisa Jacoby with Los Angeles Times. I hang up and I face my mother again. I'm so sorry I haven't been straight with you after everything you've done for me, but please let me connect with Miss Immaculate and Eli, okay? My mother and I messages her template. Bronny, I'm not sure you understand how cavalier you've been, and you've ignored Robin's advice, and you're lucky didn't blow up in your face. It still might, but no. I won't stop you from talking with Nate's mother in case I messed up enough. Everyone involved needs to dissent counsel. I throw my arms around her, and God, it feels good just to hug my mom for a minute. She sighs when I let go. Let me talk to your father. Don't think of a conversation between you two. It would be productive right now. I couldn't agree more. I'm on my way upstairs when my phone rings again. My heart leaps when I see a 503 area code. I can't keep the hope of my voice when I pick up. Hi, this is Bronny. Bronny, hello. My voice is low and strained but clear. It's Ellen Immaculate, Nate's mother. You left a note. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. She didn't hightail it to Oregon to do a drug-induced haze. Yes, I did. Cooper, Saturday, November 3rd, 3:15 p.m. It's hard to evaluate the exhibition games anymore. Overall, this one went pretty well. My fastball is 94, and I struck out the side twice. Only a few heckled me from the stands. They were wearing Tutus baseball caps, though, so they were stood out a little bit more than an average gay basher before security escorted them out. A couple of college scouts showed up, and the guy from Cal State even bothered to talk to me afterwards. Coach Ruffalo started hearing from teams again, but it strikes me as more of the PR play than a genius interest. Only Cal State is still talking scholarship, even though I'm pitching better than ever. That's the life of an outed murder suspect, I guess. Pop didn't wait for me outside the locker room anymore. He heads straight for the car, and when I'm done, and starts the engine so he can make a quick exit. Reporters are another story. They're dying to talk to me. I brace myself for the camera lights up when I leave the locker room, waiting for the women with microphones to cycle through the usual half-dozen questions, but then she catches my surprise. Cooper, what do you think about Nate Malik's arrest? Huh? I stop short. Too shocked, I brush past her. My Lewis almost bumps into me. You haven't heard? The reporter grins, and I handed her winning lottery ticket. Nate Malachy arrested for Simon Cowell's murder, and the Bayview police are saying there's no longer a person of interest. Can you tell me how he feels? Nope, I can't. Or won't. Same difference. Excuse me. The hell? Lewis mutters once we are past the cameras, he pulls out his phone and swipes widely I spot my father's car. Damn, she wasn't lying. Dude, he stares at me with a wide eye. You're off the hook. Weird, but they hadn't even occurred to me until they said it. We're giving Lewis a ride home, which is good because it cuts down the time that Pop and I need to spend alone. And Lewis and I drop our bags in the backseat and then climb into the passenger seat while Lewis settles himself into the back. Pop's finding the radio, trying to find a new situation. The arrest of the Immaculate Kid says with a grin of satisfaction, I'll tell you what, they're going to have to pack a lawsuit on their hands in this one, starting with me. He slides his hands down to my left as I sit. That's my pop's new thing. He looks near me. He hasn't met my eyes once since I told him about Chris. Well, I had to figure out Nate. It was Nate. Lewis says calmly, throws Nate under the bus and like he hadn't been sitting with the guy at lunch all of last week. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think, and if at that point to point the finger on someone this has all started, it would have been Nate. Even though he had acted genuinely desperate and he was searching for Simon's EpiPen, he was the person I knew the least and I already a criminal, so it wasn't that much of a stretch. But the entire Bayview cafeteria already take me down like a pack of hyenas. Nate was the only person who said anything. I never thanked him. But I've thought a lot about how much the worse school has gotten if he'd brushed past and let things snowball. My phone filled with text messages. The only ones I care about are a string from Chris, other than a quick visit to warn Chris about the police and apologize for the oncoming media onslaught. I've barely seen him at all the past few weeks. Even though people know about us, we haven't had a chance to be normal. I'm still not sure that it would even look like. I wish we could find out. Oh my god, saw the news. What is... that is good, right? Call me when you can. I text him back while half listening to Pop and Lewis talk. After we drop Lewis off, silence settles between me and my father. Dense fog. I'm the first to break it. So how'd I do? Good. Looked good. Good. Bare minimum. Response. As usual lately. I try again, and I talk to the scout from Cal State. He snorts. Cal State? Not even top 10. Right, I acknowledge. We catch the right side of the news vans on the halfway down our street. God damn it, Pop mutters. Here we go again. Hope that this is worth it. What was worth it? He pulls around a news van and throws the gear shift into park and then yanks the key out of the ignition. Your choice. Anger flares inside me. At both of his words, he spits them out without even looking at me. None of this is a choice, I say, but the noise of outside swallows my words and he opens the door. The reporter gauntlet is thinner than usual, so I'm guessing most of them are at Bronwyn's. I follow my pop inside, where he immediately heads for the living room and turns on the TV. I'm supposed to do a post-game stretch now, but my father hasn't bothered to remind me to do that about my routine for a while. Nani is in the kitchen making buttered toast with brown sugar on top. How's the game, darling? Fantastic, I say heavily, collapsing into a chair. I pick up the stray quarter. I spin it into a silvery blur across the kitchen table. I pitched great, but nobody cares. Now, she sits across from me with the toast offers me a slice and I push it back towards her. Give it time. Do you remember what I told you in the hospital? I shake my head. Things will get worse before they get better. Well, they surely did get worse, and now there's nowhere but to go but up. She takes a bite, and I keep spinning the quarter until she swallows. You should bring that boy of yours sometime for dinner, Cooper. It's about time we meet him. Try and picture my father making conversation with Chris over chicken casserole. Pop would hate that. Well, he'll have to get used to it, won't he? Before he can answer her, my phone buzzes with a text from a number I don't recognize. It's Bronwyn. I got your number from Addie. Can I call you? Sure. My phone rings within seconds. Hi, Cooper. You've heard about Nate? Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say, but Bronwyn doesn't give me a chance. I'm trying to set up a meetup with Nate's mom and Eli Kelfner until proven. I'm hoping that he'll take on Nate's case. I'm wondering if he'd get the chance to ask Lewis' brother about the red Camaro from the parking lot accident. Lewis called him last week about it. He was going to look into it, but I haven't heard back yet. Would you mind checking in with him? Bronwyn asks. I hesitate, even though I haven't processed everything yet. There's a little bit of relief growing inside of me, because yesterday I was the police #1 guy, and today I'm not. I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel good. But this is Nate, who's not a friend exactly or at all. I guess, but he's not nothing. Yeah, okay, I tell Bronwyn. Okay, so backtracking the past few chapters, we find the Cooper tells his dad and I think grandma about Chris, and his dad did not react very well, but as we can tell, his grandma is growing on the idea and understanding more. We got to see all of their reactions within this chapter of finding out about Nate's getting arrested. It's not still 100% factual that it is Nate, but it is definitely there's definitely a chance there that it was Nate who killed Simon because of his history there, like his history with criminal history.